The nations around the world, including Australia, have hinted that they may need to step up their support for Ukraine after America's decision to pause its military aid. For more, we are now joined by Ukraine's ambassador to Australia, Vasyl Myroshnychenko. He is in Canberra this morning. Ambassador, good morning.
Good morning.
Is the United States effectively forcing Ukraine into an unfavourable peace agreement by taking this step, by actually pausing aid?
Whether one likes it or not, but America is changing its role in the world. And it's up to the world to step up for democracy. Ukraine is doing that, and we are grateful for Australia's increased willingness to do so.
But without US military help, can anyone realistically fill the gap immediately? Or do you need the US to continue its help for a bit longer just so that you can hold the territory you already have in Ukraine?
President Zelenskyy made a statement overnight where he has once again thanked America for support provided to date. U.S. commitment to security in Europe is vital. It's extremely important. And we believe, and we want peace more than anybody else. And we believe that we are ready for negotiations. We believe that at those negotiations, Ukraine, Europe, and America have to be present. We have to force Russia into peace. And of course, the contribution from the U.S. in terms of military equipment has been the biggest one in the world. And for instance, the Patriot system. So this is the only way how we can intercept Russian ballistic missiles coming. And we need the supplies for those Patriots in order to have any defense from the Russian missiles coming.
I was going to ask you about that, Ambassador. You've sort of already mentioned it. Then I just want to go to the actual high-level diplomacy. Do you think that President Zelenskyy and President Trump can patch things up after that Oval Office meeting?
I believe so. I'm optimistic, and I hope that they can mend the relationship. President Zelenskyy mentioned that it was regrettable that the meeting went the way it was supposed to go. And he also stressed that Ukraine is ready to sign a deal on the natural resources. And we are interested in having peace. It's also what's important also, which the President has stressed, is about the security guarantees. And part of it was discussed at a summit hosted by the British Prime Minister on Sunday, how that could be achieved. Because we need to have a clear mechanism of how they could be enforced. And the presence of a military is a must in this particular case. Could be boots on the ground, could be some conventional weapons located in Ukraine. We need to deter any future Russian aggression, because Russians need time to resupply, regroup, and mount another attack 4 years from now. And we need to have rock-solid guarantees to have a sustainable, just, and comprehensive peace.
Yeah, I mean, to achieve that, you've alluded to it, you're going to need peacekeepers on the ground. Do you think we're going to get to the point where Australian soldiers are in the east of Ukraine, ensuring that Russia doesn't invade again?
I welcomed the statement from the Prime Minister that he doesn't rule it out, and Australia may consider that. We certainly value the contributions that have been made by Australia so far, and Australian Bushmasters have saved many lives in Ukraine. And we certainly will be grateful if Australia could send more of those Bushmasters, send M113s who we've been using for evacuating our soldiers from the front lines, or any other decommissioned equipment that will be decommissioned soon, such as Tiger helicopters. So we really appreciate the contributions from Australia, and I think this is what is making us stronger together, because the assault of Russia on Ukraine is not only on Ukraine, it's on liberal democracies. And we now have to be together to defend the democracy, to defend human rights, to defend rule of law. Because if we get into the world of a jungle where might is right, it will be very difficult for everybody, including Australia. So we believe it's in a strategic national interest for Australia to continue supporting us, because it's not really a charity, it's an investment into your own security.
Just before we let you go, you're one of the hardest working diplomats in Canberra, behind the scenes especially. We're on the verge of a federal election campaign. What are you asking the leaders of our major parties for? What would you like to see Australia commit to?
I already mentioned some of the equipment that could be donated, and I had meetings both with the Prime Minister and leader of the opposition, Peter Dutton, earlier, and both of them have assured me that they're interested in coming to Ukraine after the elections should they win. And I think this is what's important. We need to maintain that bipartisan support, and we will look what Australia could also do to contribute to Ukraine's rebuild and reconstruction. And I think this is where this deal on natural resources with the Americans comes in play, because many Australian mining companies and geological companies could really help us fund those resources in Ukraine, help them develop them, and actually help us rebuild the country eventually.